I'm Imogen and this is my dad, Alan.
Since May 2025, we decided to start a candle business together and share our journey with you online. It's obviously very exciting. For everyone who's been watching along, commenting and liking our videos, and if you're new as well, we really appreciate you joining us, and we know that out of all the videos you can be watching, you're choosing to watch us two get up to our candle antics, and we just want to say thanks. Okay, so we had a suggestion to do a Q&A from @What'sThatSmell and from @JaneTheJubilant. So that's a brilliant idea, and I thought, why not answer them now? @What'sThatSmell asks, what are amongst your least favourite scents? Oh, she's ready. So, all right, obviously people can't see those. So these are, and nothing against Cozy Owl, it's just the scents that mainly Imogen's not so keen on. It's things like Vintage Bookshop, Oud, Tonka and Tobacco, Bibliothèque. So these are like the darker, murkier scents, aren't they? You sniff that and then I think your face will say it all. Yeah, you're not keen. And you're also not so keen on the masculine scents that I quite like, more manly scents. But these are another level, because the masculine scents I think are still a bit lighter, and these type are just very strong, aren't they? How would you describe it? I think you have to go back to bed. Old, okay.
And manly.
Yeah. Musty maybe, because things like Bookshop, Bibliothèque has that kind of musty, not musky. I think musk is quite a nice smell. That's more on the masculine side of things, but a mustier smell. Anyway, that's our least favourite ones. Okay, you ready for your next question?
Yeah.
So, also from @What'sThatSmell, has your nose improved since you first got into making candles?
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate on that? I would then. Definitely, because
we smell a lot of smells.
We smell a lot of smells. And at the beginning, we were just like, or that's nice, or I like it, or I don't like it.
And now we know what's really good or know what's not really
Yeah, and now I think we're getting a bit better at describing things, aren't we? Like, comparing it to...
when we first started.
Yeah, floral or fruity, sweet, dark, fresh. So we're getting better at explaining, because we have to, because when you have your website, or even if you've got a customer in front of you at a stall, something like that, you have to be able to describe it to them, because they can't. They're just looking at a picture of a candle, especially online. They don't get to smell it. So you need to use all these describing words and emotional words to make people go, oh, that's really nice, or that's what I want.
I want to buy it.
Yeah, if someone likes really fresh scents, you want to say that, otherwise they won't know. And if someone likes fruity, if you don't say what kind of fruits and juiciness and sweetness, they won't know. And also, if people don't want that, they also need to know, because if they don't want fruit and they have a fruit in your candle and you haven't said it, they're not going to be happy. And hopefully your nose will get better. Yes. I think it will. We need to kind of smell more smells, I think, to get to know all the notes. It's a bit like when people describe wine, they start saying like leather and tobacco, and I used to think, what? But now I'm kind of starting to understand. Okay, next question. Also from @What'sThatSmell, have you thought about what kind of design your candles will use? Yeah, so I think we kind of started off in these 4-ounce metal tins, mainly because they're really economical, and well, I kind of underestimated quite how much testing we needed. We've done a lot of tests, haven't we? But yeah, we've just got in a whole load of these tins. I think Imogen kind of likes, because this is more a project to eventually have a company for Imogen to run and for fun as well. I mean, you're still doing it since May. We're in middle of September now, so that's a good sign. I think if you didn't like it, it'd just be me, and I might change it to Alan Sense or something. That's just weird. Anyway, so yeah, she quite likes this aesthetic, which is the white and obviously not real wood here, and wood colours, which is why you've kind of gone on to these glass vessels, which are in a couple of sizes, but a frosted glass. And I really like, if you'd seen the previous video vlog where we lit them, and the light glows through, doesn't it? And it's really pretty.
And it's bamboo lid.
Yeah, and again, it's the sort of similar colour, whitish with a woodenish top. And then maybe later, I've kind of got carried away with
Jam jars.
finding jars. I quite like these because these are made in England, and we're trying to be kind of local and sustainable.
These are mini.
And of course, glass and metal are easily recycled. So yeah, we're kind of playing around with the containers we'll be using. Probably something like this, at least for the beginning, because we've got loads of these now. And the next step is going to be the labelling, which we've kind of designed already, but just think about how we might do things a bit differently. Is there one? Yeah, I've kind of peeled them off because we've been recycling a lot of the tins, but we haven't got lychee to work so far. But we were kind of just having a picture on the top so that the label on the jar is quite plain and colourful. You like colour, don't you? So while the containers are quite plain and white or clear, a pop of colour from the label. And then I'm not sure whether we'll carry on with this theme, but to have, instead of having to describe it, have a picture of what the scent is, and some description just on the top, just for something different. And then these are vinyl labels, so they're easy to peel off.
So if you don't want the sticker, you can just peel it
Yeah, and if you want to reuse your tin afterwards, you can just take the sticker off, because paper kind of just tears, doesn't it? And our next questions are from @Jane the Jubilant. So Jane asks, I'd like to know if there are any fragrance oils or fragrance notes which negatively affect you, like make you sneeze or tickle your nose. No? I'd say, not negatively affected. And I'm quite surprised, and it's a good thing, I suppose, because when Imogen, how this came to be, this whole innocent thing and us making candles, is Imogen started to notice the candles in shops and wanted to buy them. And my experience has always been that they kind of give you headaches when you light them. And
or they don't really smell.
So I didn't really have a good experience of scented candles before. And then when we looked into it, it's obviously, as we know now, the ingredients and the quality of materials. Obviously, when you burn them, if they're not good, they're going to let off all these volatiles and nasty chemicals into the air, which will give you headaches and coughs and all kinds of things. So it's probably a good sign that these, what are we using so far? Candle Shack and Cozy Owl. They make a thing of, as much as possible, their fragrance oils being phthalate and paraben free. And if you look at the ingredient list, they're often very short, which means they haven't added loads and loads and loads and stuff in. And when you look at a cheaper store candle, their ingredients, not ingredients list, but I guess hazards list on the bottom, the safety sticker, has loads of stuff on it. And you just think, why are we adding so much stuff? It's a bit like a cheap body lotion. The ingredients list, they whack so much stuff in there, and then a really good one maybe just has a handful of ingredients. Yeah. So that's, so far no. I think the only thing is, if you don't like, if you're not keen on the smell, it just makes you go like that, and you're like, ugh. And Jane also asks, what's your general advice for starting a business on Etsy? So I'm not sure if I mentioned before, but since 2018, I've actually been selling handmade art and photo displays, like the one behind us, on Etsy, under the company name Peggy Picks. And I never intended to hand make something to sell, but it kind of just happened, because at first I wanted to sell baby towels, and we soon realised that wasn't for us. So I thought, what can I make because we'd already invested a lot of money and bought in these towels. Anyway, I'd say Etsy is a very good platform. I know it gets a lot of bad opinions about it, but that goes for any platform. And for handmade, I think the go-to, especially in England anyway, is Etsy. There are some others popping up, but they're smaller, so the amount of visitors and potential customers you get built in are less. So it's changed since I joined, and I've had my fair share of issues. I've had things like payment reserves. I've had copyright strikes for trade names. There are a lot of day-to-day objects that we use certain names for, certain words for. They're actually brand names, and some of those brands are quite relaxed, but some don't like it if you use their brand name, and they'll come and chase you, which is understandable. But at the beginning, I didn't really know these things, so you learn pretty quickly what you should and shouldn't be doing. And I think Etsy lost its way a couple of years back, and they tried to be very general, and they let everyone and everything on, and I could easily spot people just basically buying cheap mass-produced products. Technically they're handmade, but not in a good way, and reselling them. And that's why you'd see the same thing sold. It happens a lot on Amazon. You'll see the same product again and again and again, sold by different people, but they've all come from the same factory. Anyway, I think Etsy have started to clean up and get rid of a lot of that stuff and try and go back to their roots a bit, which is good.
Like the original.
Yeah, because if you want mass produced, you'll go somewhere else. I think they should just stick to properly handmade or artisan small batch sellers. And I think I've been quite fortunate that I've managed to build a brand on there and get repeat customers. And for me, I found the customers are generally really nice. Like, I get really nice reviews. I do put a lot of effort into leaving a note for everyone and replying to questions really quick and sorting out any issues or concerns really quickly. But in return, that's given a lot of good feedback. And I've had, over so many years, maybe a handful of bad reviews. And that's usually people not reading the description, and they're trying to use the display to hang things that it's not designed for. So no surprise they're not going to be happy with the display. So I can go more into it, Jane, if you like, because I've kind of already decided we'll be selling our candles on our own website initially. Because it's just going to give me a lot of headache if I have two Etsy shops on my phone with messaging and having to log in and log out. That's just going to not be what I want to do. But it's slower but more sustainable, I think. If you want a long-term business, I would start a website. It's harder to start with because you have to bring your own traffic, and that's something I've got really lazy with and taken for granted because I started on Etsy. They bring the traffic. You can pay for advertising as well, but because they have those customers there, and if you've got a good offering, some of those customers will buy from you. But that made me get really lazy with promoting my business myself on social media. And of course, Imogen was a baby, and then now her brother's not a baby anymore, but having two children during that time, it just was easy for me to not have to deal with that. But in the long run, you haven't built up your own following. So if for whatever reason, it's not just Etsy, but Etsy, eBay, Amazon, wherever you choose to sell, if they decide to kick you off or you don't agree with their terms and conditions anymore, your business is gone overnight because they're not your customers. Amazon don't even give you the customer's email address because I sell on Amazon Handmade as well. But that's all gone. So long term, I think it will be slower and harder to do your own website first. But I think that's the safer route, especially nowadays. Things are changing so much and so quickly. And that's one less thing to deal with because there's already kind of laws that everyone has to abide by. So I'll give you an example. If you choose to sell outside of the UK, in America, of course, now we have tariffs to deal with, so that drives the cost of postage up, because you need to ideally pay them ahead so your customer doesn't have to pay another bill when they get the parcel or before they get your parcel. And then if you sell to Germany, you need to recover your packaging, so I have to do that for German customers.
what?
So say you send your thing in a box to Germany, you then need to show the German government that you are getting the box back and recycling it. Of course, I can't do that because I'm in England. I'm not going to go to Germany and get the box back. So you pay another company, a waste management company in Germany, to do it on your behalf. But that's another thing. And then France, you have to have the try-back packaging legislation so that customers know how to recycle the different bits of your packaging properly. And just selling to the EU in general, there's now the GPSR, General Product Safety Regulation. I might have got two of the words in the wrong order, but that's another thing. You need a representative in an EU member state in case there's any questions about your products, just to have that kind of local representative. And of course, we're not in the EU, so again, we'll have to employ someone to act as a representative on your behalf. So those are just, regardless of selling on platforms or not selling on platforms, the kind of the landscape or what we have to navigate as sellers online. But if you just want to sell in the UK, it's a lot easier. Just put a stamp on it, put it in the letterbox. And I think that's about it for this Q&A. If you have any more questions, by all means, as they come to you, do ask, and we'll do another one of these. And I hope you found it helpful. Anything from you, apart from wanting to go to bed? I think this is the effect of the first week back at school. It's been a bit tiring, I guess, after doing nothing for 6 weeks. All right, we'll leave it there. As always, thanks for watching and have a lovely day.
Subscribe.